Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Two Dudes Talking Motorcycle podcast. My name is Mitch.
And my name is Gleb.
And we have some more motorcycle stuff to talk to you about today. But first, be sure to follow us on Instagram, at tdtmotorcycles.
And you can follow me personally on Instagram at GlebLabham.
And if you want me to follow me personally, I am at Meet to the Beach. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, pictures to share, you can email us at tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com.
Yep. And today we're just doing kind of a news mashup, a news roundup, because there's been a few motorcycle kind of announced and released, and we're not even going to get to a whole lot of them today, but this is kind of like that time of the year where I feel like a lot of them get released or announced, and there's new stuff coming out, and it's kind of a good time to kind of look at all the different things happening and see what to get excited for.
Yeah, and if
2025.
If you've been following our show for a while now, we've done these news episodes before. You know, like where it's kind of cold where we live, we can't really ride, so we don't have any new riding stories to bring.
That's true.
So
that's true. We're just waiting for the weather to warm up, even though it's 61 degrees outside. Right now, and it's February in Utah, which is absolutely wild.
I'm not too mad about that.
I am.
Keep this trend up.
Snowboard. No, because then we're not going to have any water in the summer.
True. That's true.
We need snow. And I'd rather have water in the summer or those green mountains like we had after that one.
I just need to
long winter we had.
I need a petition. I need a petition to start like a state-funded program that just gets me out of the state for the winter. I think everybody would be much happier.
Or not. Probably not.
It won't happen, but
it won't happen.
A man can dream.
That's true. That's fair. So the first bike I wanted to talk about is the KTM 390 Enduro R. And these are KTM's kind of small capacity bikes. They're just single cylinder engines, but the ones that we're going to talk about, they do pack a decent punch to them, or at least for the price and feature ratio is pretty good. So like I said, the first one is the Enduro R, and it is their newest Enduro bike. It's a dual sport bike. It has a 390. It's like a 395 capacity, or 390. Yeah. What am I saying?
I can't remember. Yeah.
I don't put it in the notes.
Oh, okay. I was looking for you. So, but it's a small bike.
It is a small bike. Yeah. I'm gonna find the actual 398 cc. So I was close. I was right in ballpark. So 398 cc single cylinder engine with roughly around 44 horsepower. And the torque figures aren't quite available yet, but on the Duke, the 390 Duke that uses a similar engine, the torque is around 28 or so pound-feet.
Okay.
Which, probably be pretty similar on this bike. It might be tuned a little different, or the transmission might be tuned a little different because it's off-road ready, but it's probably looking around to those torque figures.
28.8 torque.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yep. And it has the engine is a fully redesigned engine with newly optimized cylinder heads, repositioned fuel injectors, and a revised gearbox. They also did a really interesting thing with the way they did the exhaust on it. So the exhaust includes all of the kind of like the emissions features and stuff that modern bikes require, but also the way they made the exhaust allowed them to basically take out the muffler. So it doesn't have a muffler, and it's a really short exhaust that's kind of tucked in there, yet it still meets all the emission standards. It uses some kind of programming, electronic trickery in the ECU to adjust the fuel mixture and also adjust the engine temperature, control the engine temperature to help reduce the emissions. But the cool thing about the muffler being removed is it saves roughly around 5 pounds or 4.4 pounds off the bike, which is, for a bike that's already fairly light.
Yeah, and if you're going to be using,
not a small difference.
If you're going to be using this bike the way like it's kind of meant to be used, like 5 pounds dropping, picking back up.
Yeah,
that's going to be noticeable.
So it's pretty interesting to see how they looked at it. And even on the pictures, you can see it's kind of just like tucked in on the side there.
Yeah.
It is ride by wire, and it has a slipper clutch, which is always nice to see, and an optional quick shifter. which is always nice. Quick shifters are pretty awesome. I want to get one for my bike. I'm kind of tempted to. 43 millimeter forks up front, delivering 9.1 inches of travel with adjustable compression and rebound. And the adjustable is just using a little twist knob, so you don't need any tools to adjust them. It would suck to have to bring tools with you to adjust your forks and suspension, like some people I know on their bikes.
Yeah.
However, you do need a tool to adjust the rear rebound, or the rear preload, but not the rebound adjustment. And the rear also has 9.1 inches of travel and 21-inch wheel up front and then 18 in the back. So it's kind of already like a pretty well-rounded package. But the big thing, I think, where it comes in is kind of in the electronics department. So it does have ABS as traction control. It has 4.4 inch TFT or 4.2 inch TFT up front, and has phone connectivity and kind of all the things you expect. But it's got riding modes, which is awesome, and you can toggle the ABS fully off.
Wow.
And you can toggle traction control all the way off, and it's got street, rain, and off-road riding modes. And all of that for a starting price of $5,500.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for a little 390 bike,
Yeah.
For almost 400cc bike, it's not a bad deal, especially if you want something just to like flick around off road.
Yeah.
And the features that you get are pretty stacked up there. The chassis is the trellis frame and it has a bolt-on subframe, so making it a little easier to replace. The new frame also is supposed to provide better feedback and have more rigidity, so it kind of helps with that.
I'm noticing right away, like with these smaller bikes too, that's one thing that's been mentioned about the ADV and like enduro or like dual sport communities. It's like they're all very big, heavy, tall bikes. And while these will still be like, they're going to have their clearance on them and stuff, but like the fact that they're as small as they are, just in terms of like weight and bulk.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's awesome to have for like this to introduce into like a dual sport.
Yeah. I think it's pretty nice. And like, it's just a slim down. I did see like people mentioning in the comments and stuff on the article that I got this information from ADV Pulse. People were saying like, oh, it's a bit heavy to be for like an enduro bike and stuff like that. But I think bikes in general are just kind of getting heavier because emission regulations and engines, everything like that.
I think personally too, is like once you get into like the low enough weights between like the line between dual sport and adventure bike can kind of blend a little bit depending who rides what.
Yeah. This is supposed to be like the little brother to like the 690 KTM.
Yeah.
And it's not like that much lighter than that, despite having like half the engine size. I think that's
I must
like
be
what
thinking,
people
okay.
were kind of like more or less kind of concerned about, but I feel like it'd still be a pretty fun bike to ride.
Well, I definitely see some usability,
out.
especially like even if you want to do like some like backcountry riding and stuff, something light that's not gonna, you maybe don't need highway speeds for.
And that's nice because it's gonna be road legal, so you can just ride the bike to the trailhead. And not have to like put it on the back of a truck or a trailer and tow it out there and all that stuff. The kind of downsides is that it does have only a 2.3 gallon fuel tank, which is absolutely tiny. So you're not going to be doing any long rides unless you're bringing extra fuel with you.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how efficient that motor is with that.
I would assume it's
with how small that engine is too.
I would assume it's fairly efficient, but that's still a pretty small.
Yeah. I mean, throw a rider and some snacks and some water and a camping chair.
Yeah, exactly. But it is it is pretty nice. It does have a launch control system, which maintains revs with a throttle pin, so you can kind of launch it off a little bit more, have a little bit more fun with it.
That's fun.
So yeah, but at $5,500 starting price, that is a pretty solid. Like to me, it just sounds like a pretty solid package, at least on paper, especially including that like a TFT with phone connectivity and riding modes and ABS and traction, like all of those things.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, you don't see quite as many of those things, I feel like, on bikes at this price point, especially dual sports, where they try to kind of tend to be a little bit more bare bones. They might have like ABS and that's it.
Yeah.
That you can switch on and off, but not much else.
Yeah.
Especially in the like riding modes and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's kind of cool to see.
It is. It's pretty interesting. I could see that being used as like a small adventure bike if you wanted it to.
But wait, because there is.
I was about to say. Yep.
There is an adventure bike, which is based on the exact same chassis, has the exact same engine, same suspension. The brakes are slightly different, but overall, like the overall setup is very similar, and that is the KTM 390 Adventure R. So the KTM Adventure comes in two flavors, the R and the X. The R is the one that's more comparable to the 390 Enduro R. And the X is going to be more like the street-focused model, which can't imagine a lot of people would be quite as interested in.
Yeah.
But like I said, so the engine, the frame, the suspension, the wheels are all the same as the Enduro R, which is good to see because the Enduro R already has pretty solid specs on it. It also has an optional quick shifter that you can get for it, and has the same exhaust setup as the Enduro R. So it's kind of tucked in there. Still has the same ground clearance, the same everything. It is a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
It comes in at 388 pounds wet, so and that's with fuel included, versus the Enduro R, which was at 263 pounds. So you're adding roughly 12 or 22-ish, 23 pounds to it, which is okay, but it makes sense because it does have a few more features over the 390 Enduro R, and it's meant to be more of an adventure bike. Let's see. Features in die-cast aluminum swing arm. I think that was one of the notable differences. I'm not sure exactly what difference it makes, but I'm sure, I mean, they pointed out specifically, but I didn't look into why. The gas tank is at 3.69 gallons versus 2.37, so you're getting just over a gallon bump of fuel, and while the engine is still as efficient, it is a little bit heavier, so I'm wondering what the actual like distance you'll be able to get on that bike. But I can imagine them not wanting to make the tank too big for the added weight, because both of them do have metal tanks. So making them bigger would add a lot more weight, and maybe it just wasn't worth it to do with an engine that small.
Yeah. Like I said, my initial impression when we were going over the R, right? I still stick to like, I kind of see like, because I look out on all like ADV forums and stuff, and like a lot of people, especially once you do get into like the lighter version, you start seeing small ADV or enduro dual sport bikes start to be used for like this category.
Yeah.
And for that weight, I mean, you can get there's other options for more power in there.
Yeah.
But it'd be used, and you're not going to get like some of these nice features that are coming in on it. But
some people also like more simple setup.
And what I was going to say to that too is like, but at the same time, like what I do appreciate about it is like, you're getting a lot of bike and features for like not a big price.
Yeah, exactly.
And ADV is a more expensive category to kind of get into, I say.
Yeah,
I think
they're definitely up there, and it's one of the most popular categories at the moment too.
So I think like, you're not going to get like, you're not dropping like, other ADV market prices, like, but you're getting, for not a lot of money, you're getting a lot in your bike here.
Especially, I think that's especially the case with the Adventure R model, because street modes or the riding modes remain the same. You get street, rain, and off road. You can still toggle ABS off and on. You can toggle traction control on and off. They also has cornering traction control, which I don't think the Enduro R does. Yeah, which is kind of nice. It does have a 5-inch TFT with phone connectivity, so you're getting a little bit of a bigger TFT screen, and it has illuminated switches and switch gear, and the same 4-way controller. So it's kind of nice, the illuminated part especially, so you can see it at night.
It is just like one of those like nice to have features.
And it does have, and it will have optional cruise control that you can get, but there is no pricing that's been announced on that yet. It does have to be dealer installed, and they have to like flash the software or the firmware in the bike for it to appear there.
Yeah.
It'd be definitely dope if that was standard, especially like I think all adventure bikes should just have standard cruise control because it just makes sense for an adventure bike. You're doing long stretches of road, cruise control is really nice to have.
It really is. Yeah.
And then so pretty good package. And then the X variant is the more street focused one, which has that one comes in with a 19-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear wheel and a shorter seat height. It also has no suspension adjustability up front and preload adjustable on the back and only 7.9 inches of suspension travel. Has an LCD versus a TFT, no rain mode, no cornering traction control, just street, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay.
Both of them are coming to North America in April, according to ADV Pulse. The Adventure R is going to start at $7,000 or $6,999, and the X is going to go for $5,900 for the X. Which I thought was interesting. The new Adventure R that's coming in is actually $600 cheaper than the outgoing Adventure model.
They're making some
nice.
moves.
Yeah, so it's nice that it's cheaper than the last model. But my favorite thing about the Adventure R, honestly, is how it looks.
It does look really cool.
Because
you're just gonna hold it.
There it is. For those who are watching on YouTube, for those who are not, look it up.
It actually does look really nice.
I think this is the first KTM that I can say I'm digging the front end of.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially with like looking at their like the 1390 Duke R whatever with this like transformer looking headlight up front with it's just too much. It's over the top, it's overdone.
Yeah.
But this looks like a rally inspired bike.
Yeah.
Like I like the tower, I like the single headlight. It kind of gives me a little bit of a it's kind of a similar feel that I have about the Tenere 700. It's got that like rally inspired like sharp front end with the four headlights. It's just one headlight, but it looks good.
It does have like some Dakar inspirations.
Yeah, 100% rally inspired. It does have the little fog lights there, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm not sure if those are optional or not. I didn't see any information on that.
Yeah,
but they do look dope in their promotional video. Skid plates. I forgot to mention the other difference between the Enduro and the Adventure is the Adventure has beefier brakes up front, similar brakes in the back, which kind of makes sense because it's a little heavier, so probably does help to have a little bit more stopping power.
Yeah.
It's got those Mickey Mouse mirrors, skid plate, all the standard stuff. And honestly, like if I was shopping for my first bike and I wanted an adventure bike, this would probably be one that I would definitely
I would check it out. Yeah.
Especially like me thinking of like my first bike, which was the Honda CB500X. Brand new was roughly the same price as this. Maybe a little bit more even. I don't remember how much it was brand new. I didn't buy it brand new. But this offers a lot more features for the same price. I don't know how reliable it's going to be compared to the Honda. Probably not.
I would put money on Honda.
Yeah. But like I think bikes in general aren't exactly like the most tricky thing or expensive thing to like work for, at least depending on the brand. But I would totally be looking at this.
When I was saying too,
100% on my radar.
Yeah, like I mean, I would bet that the Honda is going to be more mechanically reliable. Like, but that doesn't mean that I'd necessarily be worried about this bike.
Yeah, I don't think I would.
It's just either. Hondas are just kind of legendary,
kind of known for that. Yeah,
for running off of gravel.
A lot of their bikes
using gravel as lubricants.
Yeah, but a lot of the Honda bikes just look boring.
Yeah,
this doesn't look boring.
This looks cool.
This doesn't look boring or over the top.
Yeah,
like a lot of KTMs. So. I like it. Like you had a picture just pulled up there on your iPad with the headlight on.
Yeah.
That looks good, especially with the two like fog lights there on the bottom. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, KTM, like slap this on the bigger adventure bikes too. It would look good.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like I hope they're received well. I hope they perform well. So.
And I kind of hope they keep those design language going to like other adventure bikes.
Yeah, same.
So yeah, and then like I said, the Adventure X model, it looks the same, but it has smaller wheels and a few less features and costs A little bit less. Between the two, though, I would go with the Adventure R just because it is the more off-roady. It's the more, I think it
More
looks
options.
cooler, more options.
No, I
And
get
then
you for
finally,
sure.
they do have the KTM 390 SMCR, and this is their supermoto bike. Once again, it has the same engine, the same suspension, the same chassis as the Adventure R and the Enduro R, just smaller wheels because it's a supermoto. Same preload adjustable suspension, compression rebound up front, and compression preload and rebound all in the back. So it's slightly more adjustable. It has street and sport riding modes, and it shares the die-cast aluminum swing arm with the Adventure R.
Okay.
And for the brakes, it has ABS, which has Road, Supermoto, and Supermoto Plus modes. Not sure quite exactly what they change, but I'm assuming they allow you to kind of lock the brakes up more and kind of drift.
Have a little more,
Have a little more fun with the bike.
Yeah, I don't really know a ton about supermoto stuff, but
Yeah,
I think they're really cool. I think they're crazy.
I think they look dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like those little like track events they have with sumo bikes, and it's nuts.
It's pretty cool.
It is. So, but yeah, just like kind of looking at all three of them and how this like basically it's the same bike as the last one you discussed, just sumoed out.
Supermoto. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all
And
three.
I
of
like
these,
that.
Yeah. All three of these are pretty much the same bike,
Yeah.
just slightly different flavors.
But I think it's cool that they're offering a sumo trim like from the dealer. You know, like because like a lot of sumo stuff is like you gotta kit it yourself to that.
Yeah, and I've noticed a few more motorcycle or like manufacturers doing that. Like Ducati has their
Well, they've had the hyper motard for a
Yeah.
while now and everything,
Yeah.
you know. But like it's cool to see more that were like
and
another
Suzuki had their like was it DRZ
some
or something like that. We talked about it
Yeah.
a few episodes back.
yeah
Where they had like both a enduro dual sport variant and then like a supermoto variant. So it is. I do agree. It is kind of cool. Just giving more people a little bit more variety.
And it's like, hey,
Really.
you like the world of sumo? You can buy this bike for this price, and it's a sumo.
ready to
It's a
go.
sumo. It's
Yeah.
ready to go. Yeah.
But beyond that, like everything's the same between the two. It does have the smaller TFT from the Enduro R, and it looks pretty much like the Enduro R, but with
Yeah.
smaller wheels.
Right.
And for those of you that are curious, since I didn't really mention it, the Enduro R, it looks like a dual sport bike.
Yeah.
Plastic cladding on each side, just your standard little like
It looks like a sumo. right?
rectangular-ish headlight up front. Nothing really to write home about. It
Yeah.
looks like a dual sport. Like pick any other dual sport and it works. The Adventure R is the one that looks good though.
Yeah.
Is the special looking one.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty much all I got for my roundup.
So we're
But
seeing in the world of KTM.
I mean, I think it's this is the
yeah.
Enduro R. It just looks like a basic.
It looks like
sport.
yeah. So
But it's functional. That's what matters. I think.
that's pretty.
I don't
sweet.
think anyone's buying a dual sport really for its looks.
Nah, probably not really.
No.
So
But yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's nice to see more kind of like of these smaller bikes popping up.
yeah.
And I hope they sell well. I hope KTM finds their footing and kind of skips back up to the top.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to see a motorcycle manufacturer close down or fail.
No.
So hopefully these bikes kind of help prop up some of the, some sales down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I think these bikes, especially the Adventure R, I think that would be a pretty decent like entry level.
For something
bike.
small, nothing too crazy. So
If you want to get into a world of like adventure bikes, I think that one's definitely not a bad one to go with, especially considering the features. And it's right up there, like the new Himalayan, which has got a significant power bump.
Yeah.
And
Saw
torque
that.
bump. It's probably going to be a little chunkier and heavier than this.
Yeah.
But I do like how it looks. You have like the BMW 390 GS or 310 GS, which is kind of adventure-y, but not anywhere close to this.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't it looks like an adventure bike, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It's advertised. It's weird. Triumph really doesn't really have a baby off-road adventure bike.
Well, they got the Scrambler X now, but or
wouldn't
not
say
the
that's
Scrambler, the Scrambler 400, whatever it is.
I wouldn't really say that's an adventure one though.
That's like a fire trail bike, I guess, because they say it can do like,
and it doesn't have like a windscreen. It doesn't have like fairings and stuff kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean, they got like it's a small displacement bike, but it's not gonna
I think the closest thing Triumph would have is like their was it this Tiger 660?
Well, yeah, because we're not talking about their actual enduro bike.
That one, like, they don't even have an enduro bike. They just have a
dirt bike. Yeah, sorry, dirt bike. Yeah, sorry.
But it's not like it's not a dual sport, at least.
Yeah. Yet.
So yeah, that's true. I mean, try it. Like, come on.
They got the bike.
You could just put a headlight on it, some blinkers, and call it a day.
Right. Some emissions.
Yeah, some emissions. Put some emissions in there.
Yeah.
But and then I'm trying to think, like, the Honda CB500. I say would definitely competes in that because it is kind of in the price range, but it does have a little bit more power, which is nice.
I would say though that those, like, all those bikes, they are like, while they can do more of this adventure-y type stuff, they are definitely more street focused.
I agree. Except maybe the Himalayan.
Yeah, except
that one. But this one definitely seems like it's more focused on the off-road part versus the other bikes that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
I think the only ones I can think of is maybe like some like the DRZ, like the DR400, DRZ 400 from Suzuki.
One of the Suzuki.
One of those two probably will kind of be in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Or ultimately, like, if you want to get a beefier adventure bike from the start, like the KTM has the 690.
Yeah.
And you can find those used at this point for probably not much more than.
I was looking at these 690s.
Yeah. And they're pretty up there.
They're up there. They're above 10 still, or they're in that 10 frame.
Then. Gotcha.
But again, it could just be like what's available. Like when I looked.
Yeah. I think one of those is one of those things that varies by region too.
And I was looking on like a used market, and so but they're not too bad. I guess they're not too much more. I think the ones like the enduros I was looking at, they were kind of kitted out too.
Gotcha.
So,
but for a starter bike,
yeah,
I think the Adventure R would actually be kind of dope.
Yeah, for a small little bike,
I wouldn't mind trying it out and seeing how it feels.
Yeah,
I think any bike with a smaller displacement, going down to any bike that's smaller displacement now is kind of like, it's fine, it's cool, but it doesn't feel.
I think it's a good package.
Spoiled.
I think it's a good like package for people who are breaking into it,
I agree.
Or or maybe they just don't want to spend that kind of money.
Yeah, or if you just want to off road, the Enduro R is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the stuff that the Adventure has, but lighter and cheaper.
Yep.
So there's that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you got some news from the American side of
So
from this side of the pond.
So these next bikes in this category, they're in a topic that I think that we are very well versed to talk about. We have so much experience with these models.
Oh, definitely.
So, this is of course the 20. So these are like the highlights that I saw from the 2025 Harley lineup and also the Indian lineup that we're seeing out of the Big Daddy cruisers. But first, before we go into the cruisers, we do have the Pan America ST.
Oh, right. Yeah. So that's you said it was like the more street focused.
That's what it is.
Adventure Pan America bike.
Yeah.
Which I think the Pan America, I don't know, this might be a hot take in some circles. I actually kind of dig the looks of it.
Do you?
Yeah. It just kind of gives me this it's like a brick wall trying to carve through air kind of look. But I kind of dig the very blocky front end of it.
Yeah,
like it's kind of those it's kind of ugly cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's good pretty looking by any means.
Yeah,
but I think it looks kind of slightly Mad Maxy, kind of like the old Adventure GS.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a problem with the way they look. For me, it's really just the headlight. The headlight just looks like some old ass vacuum that I just I've said before.
Yeah,
if they just did like a little tweaking on the headlight, I would be more on board with it. Because it actually is pretty well equipped.
Oh yeah.
And honestly the cockpit looks nice too.
It does look pretty dope.
Yeah,
I agree. We need to go ride one.
We do.
Go poke at a Harley dealership.
Yeah. Anyway, but the Pan America ST is it's the Pan America street focused, basically. So it's going to have cast wheels, 17-inch tires. The windscreen's been reduced by a bit, and like the lower fairings are kind of all tucked in a little bit more. So it's just a street. It's not really a sport tour, but it's a touring ADV, I guess.
Okay.
You know. Same engine, and it's starting at the same price as the off-road version. What's cool about this one, though, is that this ST that says standard is coming with the Screaming Eagle quick shifter.
Cute eagle noises.
Did you say cute eagle noises or cute eagle noises?
Cute eagle noises.
Cute eagle noise.
You know what they should do?
What's that?
They should make it screech like an eagle every time you upshift or downshift.
Yeah. They actually should.
They should. It'd be hilarious.
Yep. They should play it like cawing, or like when you shift up, like you're going fast, like a screaming eagle as you're going faster.
Yeah.
But then when you slow down, they play it in reverse, so it's like a choking. Like, but yeah, so a little small tires, a little more street focused from there. Same engine. It is claiming a lighter weight of 542 pounds. So that's
pretty nice.
Yeah. I forgot to grab what that's down from, but for like a big bike, we've seen them in person.
They're big. They're big.
For 542, I mean, that doesn't, because mine's like a little bit more than that, I think.
Yours is?
I think so.
Huh.
I'll have to look again, but
You're
yeah.
a heavy bike.
I really do. It's insane. That's solid steel frame. And,
that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, it actually, so for 20K, base 19K, starting, you get a quick shifter. You're also getting 3 preset rider modes plus 2 custom modes.
That's nice.
And all your infotainment.
Custom modes.
Infotainment, everything's coming on that 6.8 TFT. So
no Apple CarPlay.
I didn't see Apple CarPlay for this one. Sorry, Gleb, not coming.
Disappointing.
Yet.
Not worth it. Next.
Yeah. So we've talked about the Pan America and everything from there, and like overall, I do think it's actually a nice bike. I think it's cool. It has a lot of the features, especially when it was coming out. Like it had the adaptive ride height, where it just kind of sit itself down, and that's coming on the ST as well for North America, is what I saw. So I don't know if it's available elsewhere.
Okay,
but. That is a nice, cool feature.
Yeah.
BMW has something similar.
Yeah. And they're current ones, but like Pan America, I feel like when that came out, I was like, that's kind of pretty cool. It has hydraulic valve, so it doesn't need valve checks.
It just does.
It doesn't need, that's already kind of cool in its own. Because valve checks are annoying.
Well, and it's got a nice engine note too.
Yeah.
Exhaust
it does. I like that it kind of retains the like Harley kind of growl.
Yeah.
But without being too obnoxious about it, like
but at the same time,
Harleys,
it has like kind of like that tiger whistle.
Yeah, it does
on it somewhere, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I really want to ride one and try it out.
I do too. I think that should be what we try this year. Is like that should be first on our demos this year.
Yeah, I think that's
trying out some Harleys.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, Pan America street version. Next up, though, is the 2025 Harley Davidson Street Glide Ultra, and they have like some like FLHXU, like Fluxu or something like that.
Okay.
I was reading through it. It's like they didn't really explain what that is, and
it's just there.
Don't really want to go through the pop-ups to look more. But anyway, yeah. But it's a new build. It's based on the Street Glide.
Yeah.
The new Street Glide Ultra based on the Street Glide. They've redesigned the lower fairings on there. From there, I guess they want it. They're claiming that you can like fine tune like the airflow for the rider.
Oh,
with it.
Interesting.
I guess just very nice, cozy. Seems pretty bougie to me.
Yeah. I mean, some of those like big cruisers from they're
Harley
or Indian or
they're comfy.
Yeah, they look super comfortable.
Yeah,
and you're pretty much like a cocoon of like calm air because they have so many fairings on each side.
Yeah, right. So, so from there, we're just getting like a new iteration of what's existed in this new trim with new fairings. They did note on here that they are adding 4 more inches to the windscreen. So more of an air cocoon, which is cool. So then,
I always want more windscreen on my bike.
right?
I mean, it helps sometimes, though,
Yeah.
especially if you're on a long ride.
Yeah. They've added like LED lights to the bat wing, the front.
Oh, nice.
Not when your scrote gets sticky. Not that bat wing, the bat wing on the Harley, your front wind block. So they added some new lights onto there. Harley is claiming that the storage and everything on this bike is doubled.
That's kind of the other thing that I think baggers or cruisers kind of do, especially these touring ones, is like you can just put everything you need for a trip. And it's kind of already built in and like designed with that in mind.
Yeah.
There's like tacking on extra saddlebags and all that.
It's like
stuff.
taking like a luxury RV and packing it to two wheels.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
So, so claim double storage space. They are also claiming that the weight is down for this trim. They're claiming it's still very heavy.
Yeah.
This is a 886 pound weight, and they're claiming that is down from their limited, from like the limited model, down from 917.
That is insane.
That is nuts.
That is bonkers heavy. It's more than 300 pounds heavier than my bike.
That's massive. That's massive.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, I guess I always know that Harleys are heavier bikes, but
that's heavy. I hope it doesn't tip over if it does.
Jesus. Yeah. So
but it looks like it's got plenty enough power and torque to move all that weight.
Yeah. So we're down weight, but they are still using the same Milwaukee 117 engine at claiming 105 horsepower at 4,600 RPM and 130 foot-pounds of torque at 3,250 RPM.
Nice.
Again, this thing is just massive. A 12.3 inch TFT.
That's bigger than my car's main screen in the center.
How big was the Tacoma's? The new Tacoma?
14.
What is
right?
I mean, cool. I'm going to guess it's like a smaller stretch. I need to look
it's probably
at
just like really long.
Yeah.
And like, cinematic.
Yeah. I mean, but if you're going to be on the road for just hours on end, you're going to be comfy doing it at least.
Does it play Netflix by Adrian?
Jeez, probably.
Apple CarPlay?
No. At least not that I saw.
You have 12 inches.
Giggity.
12 inches. It better have Apple CarPlay.
Oh, yeah. All that is to say, though, this bike, this is like, it's weird to think, not weird, but just something different for us to think about. You know, when we talk about very expensive bikes, you know, we got like Ducati and like the bigger high-end Triumphs, BMWs, and all that, right?
Yeah.
The Harleys, the Harley Davidson 2025 Street Glide Ultra MSRP begins at $30,750 MSRP.
My brain has a hard time wrapping itself around that much for a bike.
Any bike. Yeah.
Like at all.
On one hand, yeah. Well, now that I can compare, we haven't ridden like a Harley yet, but we've ridden cruisers. And we've ridden $30,000 bikes.
Yeah.
I guess I can see it. It's like, you know, if this big giant cruiser lounge boy on the road lifestyle, if that's what you want to do, that 30 grand is going to get it for you.
That's true.
And you're going to get that if you want a $30,000 all out street legal Ducati, the Panigale V4S we rode, it'll get you there.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, it's your money. We're not going to tell you how to spend it.
Wow.
That is a lot of money, though, to spend on a bike.
I think you're getting the most like dollar value per pound out of this bike than any of the other ones we've talked about in this price range.
That's pretty. It's a pretty big amount.
An almost 900 pound bike.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. Anyway, I was just reading up on it. Now we do actually want to try to get some more. We want to try riding a Harley before we continue with too many jokes and stuff. Yeah.
And then you got the
lastly,
Indian.
what I have is now we're just making a little shift over to Indian, which we have rode the Indian cruisers.
We have rode them. And I will say, I really dig them.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
I think the Indian Scout is beautiful looking. It's a very gorgeous looking bike, even though it's not the most comfortable for me to sit on. So I probably wouldn't own one, but it's beautiful. They have a very, very pretty look to them.
Yeah, the one I rode was I always forget that it was one of the Chieftains. I don't think it was a Dark Horse, but it was like one of the Chieftain Limited.
Yeah.
Super Mac.
And they do have the FTR
and the
1200,
FTR,
which I think is kind of a dope bike, even though it feels kind of uncomfortable to be on. It's a little vibey and rattly.
Yeah,
but that thing's got some pull.
See, and that's I'll get to the Chieftain here in a minute, but like I think that's like what one thing we'll have to consider when we do try a Harley. I think because we've ridden Indians so long ago, we would also need to go ride Indians again.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
So
I agree.
It's hard work out here, but someone's got to do it. But for 2025, we have the Indian Chieftain Power Plus and Roadmaster Power Plus. So I don't know if Power Plus is an existing title. I didn't search that far back, but for 2025, these Power Plus trims, they have a new design that's claiming better high-speed handling and stability. I don't know if that was an issue on the older ones, but they're just saying, hey, it's improved. I haven't heard.
Take their word for it.
Yeah. So new stability and handling at your higher speeds. New LED lighting and daytime running lights are added on this one for your design and your fashion statement for your bikes. And the article, this is motorcycles.com. It abbreviated. It's like all PP models come with Brembo calipers and 320 millimeter discs for your braking. Nice. So I would hope so for these big bikes. Yeah. Because again, these are also big bikes.
Yeah. The big PP bikes.
So and all 4 PP models will be available with either the original 1768cc engine or the new 1834cc version, which is derived from the engine that they use for like their Indians King of the Bagger race bikes.
That's pretty cool. I don't think I've seen a bike being offered with like 2 engine options before, and like similar bike.
We have like they're the same models and different trims.
Yeah,
it's like same engine, different trims.
Yeah, but not like 2 engines with one being a little bit bigger than the other. And we were talking about this before we started recording. I wonder if it's like pretty much the same, like outside at least the same engine dimensionally, but maybe the inside is kind of like
it's just different,
bored out more, kind of like looks a little different, or somewhere inside there like the capacity is increased. Yep. But that's kind of cool. That's kind of a cool cool feature. It's kind of like how you see with cars. You know, a lot of cars are offered with like the weaker or the more powerful engine option, but I've never seen that on the bike before. Yeah, and basically just to reiterate that last point, so the base trim, the Chieftain PP and the Roadmaster PP, they're both of them. The base trims are going to be with the 108 engines. That's their 108 CIs. So it's coming with the 1700 cc engine. Yeah. But all the trims that they're offering, that you have a choice in which displacement you want. That's pretty cool. Which I don't think I've seen that from a motorcycle. If it exists, I'm unaware. I think that's cool. Yeah, I have personally not heard of it before. Yeah. I mean, is that really going to make a big difference in competition? I don't know. But in terms of like, consumer power and like what you want. It's pretty nice to have that option. Yeah. So on top of that customizability, I guess, and like the trim that you want to get for your bike, there are new electronic rider aids. So it's like just reworked traction control, ABS, what else is there? Oh yeah, and they have a new IMU model in there. So it's just kind of redoing all the computer work from there. Nice. So they've also added electronically linked braking. So like the rear brake will kick in with the front. Yeah, when you hit it. Very nice little feature to have there from there. Yeah. Something interesting about this model though is like while the bike does have like radar assisted or like rider assisted stuff, so like blind spot monitoring, tailgate warning, and rear collision, there is no adaptive cruise control. So it's still cruise control, but it's not going to adapt to the car in front of you because the radar that they've installed is rear facing only. Interesting. So kind of an odd decision, I think, if you're adding it on there. Yeah. I do kind of like, like adaptive cruise control. I have it in my car and it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But every bike I've seen that has it has to have like this ugly.
Oh,
kind
no,
of,
that's true. Yeah.
like blank space in the front, like the new BMW.
Yeah.
The multi-strap, like a few of the bikes, they just have this like
Yeah.
ugly blank
A sensor up there.
black
Yeah.
square where the radar is shooting from. It's like, I get it. You have to put it somewhere where it can still see what's in front of you, but it doesn't look good on the bike.
Yeah. Well, when making this list, I was thinking of it of like, oh, that's weird. I was thinking like for like, the value perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we have this feature that's adding some money to this price tag, but it's only working in the rear. But now I think about it when you mention like with adaptive cruise control on bikes, like not just like that. It's not so much like that piece of tech that bugs me.
Yeah.
It's like that just kind of lets the rider like slip out of readiness a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a safety net that,
Yeah.
I think it's like a cool, nice thing to have like when weird things happen.
I mean, if it does like braking, like emergency braking for you,
That's
I could
one
see
thing.
it being like kind of useful.
Yeah. Or even
but
a
then
warning.
Again, but then again, like you're on a bike, you probably should be a little bit more aware.
And if you
or
can't,
quite a lot more aware than what you would be in a car.
Yeah. So stuff like the tailgate warning and like the rear collision, warning stuff. I think that's cool because it is harder to like look behind you as a rider.
Yeah.
So
I
take that like kind of like, oh, it's kind of weird. I take that back. I think that's actually smart.
What I hoping that the rear collision warning, I'm curious to see how sensitive it is, because what if a car is just like pulling up behind you at a stoplight or something like that? Is it gonna like beep 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 at you?
I don't know. My car has collision warning, and like cars have just kind of pulled up behind me and they've been fine.
Mine does it too, and sometimes it gets a little defensive on the front end of things.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, if I'm like trying to jump like a yellow light and still there's like a car in the intersection, I'm like just trying to pull up to it. It'll think like, oh my god, you're about to crash. I'm like, no, I'm not. The brake's on.
It's this
Chill.
one officer. But yeah, another feature they've added on this bike is their bike hold. So it's just the hill stop or whatever.
Yeah, that's nice.
Other have had. Yeah, so it'll just hold the brake pressure so the bike doesn't roll when you're like at an incline or rest.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of thing. And then last little feature on here is a 7-inch TFT, the media package or anything on there. The Dark Horse trims, they come with an upgraded like in-house. I don't think it's like Indian's in-house software, but they have like their own little module, like software mod, kind of, So the Dark Horses will come with those, with this upgraded software, and it supports CarPlay at Gleb.
Thank you.
So
Is that so hard?
so you can go get yourself a Chieftain Dark Horse PP.
I might go get myself the
Get a Dark Horse
big
PP.
PP Dark Horse just for that
For
Apple
your Power
CarPlay.
Yep. But yeah, so all that customizability and features though, this one there's a lot of options that you got for this bike. For these new ones. So for the Power Plus options, you're looking at ranging from like the Chieftain Power Plus all the way to the Roadmaster Power Plus Dark Horse. You're looking around there like 26.5K all the way to 33.5K. So you have options. So between the trims, you have those options to pick from.
That is $10,000, almost 10, or no, less than $10,000.
Yeah, it's a range.
Isn't my strong suit. That is quite the range of pricing. And once again, it's kind of like the same thought as that Harley, or it's like, that is a lot of money to spend on a bike, at least to me. But hell, if that's what you like riding, then and you have the money for it, just don't go into high amounts of debt for it. Yeah, please.
If you can afford it, do it.
If you can afford it, go do it. But don't like empty your wallet.
My car out the door was like 25, I think, something like that. And so it's just like, wow, like
that's insane.
These bikes cost a lot more than my car.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But hey, CarPlay.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I feel like that price is kind of, especially like the 26, 27, it's pretty comparable to like the Goldwing and stuff like that, because those things go for like mid to high 20s or even low 30s. Those do have Apple CarPlay, by the way. Or like kind of like the other like bagger or cruiser or touring bikes and stuff. So I can I feel like they're priced where they should be for the segment.
Yeah,
it's just still a high price.
it's these are high end bikes. These are like the big.
They seem pretty like fully feature packed.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You know this, but I mean, even like this Chieftain Power Plus Dark Horse, it starts at 28,500.
Yeah,
like, 28,500.
It's a pretty big amount.
It's a lot of money, you know. But I think like where you get that Dark Horse, you get like the upgraded tech pack and everything else on there. Especially and it's going to be more if you add that one with the 1834cc engine.
Yeah.
So.
Well, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our little news roundup of a select few bikes. I mean, there's always bikes being announced and coming out.
Yeah.
So usually we try to cover them a little bit here and there in our episodes, but I figure we kind of do a mass sweep of a few of them all at once for this episode, and then go back to our regular news segments on the rest.
Yeah.
But they sound like some pretty exciting bikes. I'm curious to look at that KTM up in person just to see what it looks like, because I think it'd be fun to check out that little bike. And now I'm kind of curious. I wonder if Husqvarna is going to kind of make a little equivalent, maybe like a baby Norden.
Maybe
That'd be kind of cool.
They could.
Yeah, it's same bike basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else to add?
I was just gonna say, honestly, it was actually kind of fun, like looking at bikes we don't really look at.
Yeah,
you know, like I'm looking at like all these features. It's like, dang, it has that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
you know?
It's pretty sweet, and they're very feature packed.
They really are. Like I don't necessarily think like it's a bad purchase if you can afford it.
Yeah,
and if you
definitely,
if that's what you want. So. I think we should definitely start looking at some of these.
We definitely need to
this year. Yeah.
If you guys have any like ideas or for us to talk about, any questions,
actually,
or things like that, send us an email at tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com. Honestly, I thought about that actually. I was wondering if there was anything that going on in the motorcycle world that you guys know about that we haven't mentioned, or something that you have an opinion on that we haven't talked about. Yeah, let us know. Let us know, because I mean we try our best to come up with like fresh and exciting topics and stuff, but sometimes we're like, have we talked about this already, or too much and stuff? So if you guys have any ideas you want to pitch our way for us to discuss or talk about, feel free to let us know, and keep sharing your riding stories.
Yeah,
but. Yep, I think that's
about all
it.
I got. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See ya.